ha, ha, ha. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. First Guy Omaha Radio, First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Come on in, grab a seat.
Sit down, let me talk to you. Tech looks like it's working today.
Yeah.
Mic sounds nice. Live at 85. Got the date right. It's a good day already.
Yeah. So far, so good.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Guy Omaha Radio, First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, December 8th, 2023.
Man.
Yeah. We got another week.
Yeah.
One more week for the end.
3 more shows left in the season.
Yep. Season 6, Boots to the Roots, is just about over, and then we go on break. So we're going to try to make the best of these last 3 shows. Thanks for joining us. Got to give a shout out to the radio channel, the radio listeners over there. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let me know if you got me. If the tech is right, then we're good all the way around. Then we had a successful tech day. So check us out. Yeah, how you doing today, buddy?
Man, I'm all right. Back stateside again. Back in Georgia on the south side. Yeah, man, just trying to get back in the swing of things. It's been a marvelous last week or so still kind of reeling from that. Just trying to get my brain around it. Got a lot of footage to still go through and cut up and things like that. So preparing to get that done. And yeah, man, still trying to get things back in order here, and just prepare for the end of the season, man, ending with a bang.
Yeah, hear that. Definitely get around this time of the year and go, man, I'm glad that we put them breaks in on this show.
They always seem to come just in time. Just in time.
Oh, man, we got some people in the chat already. Good morning. I'm glad you guys are up with us, giving us some good mornings. Leia Keister is up saying, happy Friday, yay, 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 yay. I think I got all the yays in there.
Yeah, a bunch
happy
of yays.
Friday.
Yay.
Yay. Yeah, man, happy Friday. Judy Prinzer says, sending love to all. Thanks, Judy.
Hey.
Appreciate you very much. Pops in the chat says, good Friday morning, First Guy and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops.
Peace.
Sue Kessler Hagen says, good Friday morning, all. Thank you very much. Tamika Johnson is in the chat giving us a little sunshine. It did warm up here the last couple of days.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad in Omaha.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like 56 or something today. So
really? Okay.
Yeah, man. I had to bring the drop top out for one last
hurrah.
Pop says everything is A-OK and you look and sound marvelous. Appreciate you, Pops.
Thank you.
Yep. Once again, just anybody listening on the radio channel, let us know what's going on there. Let us know how you enjoyed the mix this morning as well. If for those of you that don't know, we do have a digital radio channel. Just go to firstguyomaha.com, hit the listen button, and check it out. Or if you have an Amazon Alexa, you can say, Alexa, play First Guy Omaha Radio. So, check us out sometime. We're building that out as well. And, just more outlets, man. We got to talk about outlets.
Man.
We had a great week. Stuff was going on. Adam Sandler was in town. all kinds of stuff was going on, and people didn't really know what was happening, man. Dr. Umar, of course, Dr. Cornell West, and then and other people on other sides of town. So we got to
Yeah,
really figure out this outlet situation.
man. I heard I forget his name, but I think his last name is Wiley, brother Wiley. He painted the Obama portraits.
Oh yeah.
You remember the big
Oh, that's
Obama
right.
portrait? Yeah, he was in town. Yeah, I saw pictures with him and Michelle. Shout out to Michelle. He was in town. A lot of things going on, man. Let us know, where do you get information? Where do you find out about things? Where are you looking, or where do you frequent? Are you a doom scroller? Are you on Facebook, Instagram?
That's right. Yeah, we're definitely going to put some polls out, some surveys and things out. We have to find out where everybody's getting their news. Where you're used to looking at, the idea is to bring the news to where you already are. So the news and also the Haps. This is a Haps Friday, and we got a lot of Haps today that we're going to talk about for sure. If you have any Haps about what's going on this weekend, let us know. Go ahead and put that in the chat or put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha. And
Mhm.
yeah, let's talk about what's happening this weekend. Or this coming up week as well. So let's see what's up. Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning. Good morning to you on Facebook. We got John Carter says good morning on Facebook. Thanks for
Hey,
joining us.
peace,
I can
peace.
see Facebook and YouTube working well this morning, so that's good. It's always up in the air with Facebook. So my Facebook friends, I appreciate you. Encourage you to come on over to YouTube though, because YouTube seems to be a little bit more solid platform. And like and subscribe over there if you will as well. But if you're on Facebook, do us a favor and share the show on your page.
Man, tell
Let
a friend to
everybody
tell a
know.
friend.
Yeah, let's get as many people in as we can for the conversation. You know what this is? This is the conversation about the news and the things that are affecting us in our neighborhoods from our perspective, our chat chimers, first family perspective. So appreciate everybody that's joining us and coming in as our co-host today. And also, I appreciate the ghost listeners, man. Every time I go anywhere, people say, "Hey, yeah, I don't really say much on the chat, but I tune in and listen." So I appreciate that very, very much. Can't do it without you guys either. Mayor Sanchez in the chat. Good morning. He says, "I get my news from First Sky. I get the feel from TV." That's
Mm,
what's up.
okay.
Yeah, that's what's up. I appreciate that. We definitely. I'm trying. I have to think about where I get my news because, of course, we dig in and research a bunch of stuff in order to talk about it on the show. So I'm kind of you can grab it from all over the place. But this today, in particular, Nebraska Examiner had several articles that were interesting to me, and I thought that was really relevant to us in our in our chat here. So I pulled a bunch of those today. Nebraska Examiner is always doing the good work. Hopefully, we can have Cindy Gonzalez or somebody on the show to talk about their
Man,
journey over there.
yeah.
So gotta partner up with the partners for sure, and they're doing good work. So if you are so inclined, definitely check out Nebraska Examiner, donate to them. Help them stay afloat as well.
Man, support. Last of a dying breed.
That's right. Matter of fact, as you can see, things can go away like the reader did,
Exactly.
unfortunately. And there is a event coming up on the 16th at the Admiral. It's the final party for the reader that's happening. This was a event that I was invited to, and I wasn't sure if it was a private event. And I saw the event page and got word that it was not a private event anymore. A lot of people are going to show up to this musical lineup. Man, Stilo
Man,
in the house coming through.
John
Hector
Chondo.
Chondo.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Noise Wave. I don't know about Noise Wave and Man Down. I'm quite sure there's probably musicians that I know, but I don't know their projects. But it sounds like a pretty diverse and good musical lineup is happening.
Yeah.
This is the Admiral that used to be the Sokol Auditorium, and for those of you who don't know, John Heaston was kind of the reason behind the Sokol Auditorium back in the day in the first place.
Man.
So it's fitting that we're going to have it there. And yeah, man, come on through, make a donation to charity on the 16th. And yeah, the Reader El Perico final party is happening. So we'll talk more about that, and maybe bring somebody on to talk about what's going on there. And we're throwing a party. It says we're throwing a party to celebrate the Reader El Perico and to roast those responsible for them. So that's what's up. That'll be a funky good time. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah, big shout out to the whole reader squad. Big shout out to John. Definitely still battling, with this illness. So if you could, wish him well, send him some love, send him some light, all that good stuff. And yeah, come on, and celebrate one last time. I wonder if Chris Baby Boy Bolin is going to grace the stage.
Uh,
He's in the band.
Yeah, that's a good question. I wonder if those any of those are his bands. That's
Yeah, yeah.
that'd be something to see for
It
real.
would be. It would be.
We got Jaquela Yarbrough in the chat. Good morning. Says driving and listening. Hey y'all, what's up? What's
Hey,
up?
hey, welcome, welcome. Man, saw you at the event with Dr. Cornell West. Heard you announcing your candidacy for Douglas County Commissioner. We're gonna have to have you on. Definitely gonna
Powerful.
have to have you on.
Yeah, powerful, powerful.
Yeah,
You riled us up. You riled us up for sure on that one.
yeah. Had the babies out there. First guy Omaha's about the fam.
Man, she had them babies there tough too, boy. They was there to the bitter end. They was there to
Man,
sleeping on the lap. Yeah, that was
hanging out,
dope.
hanging out. But yes, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome. Mayor Sanchez says love Stilo the Don. Ali Taco 402. That's what's up.
Okay, okay. Man, I think Stelo's my cousin. Man, I think I
What?
did. Yeah, I think I did hear that.
Only in Omaha, you'd be like, I think it might be we
Yeah,
might be
yeah.
cousins.
The Omaha cousins.
That's what it is. But anyway, once again, just really want to appreciate everybody that's coming in. For those of you who don't know, we usually spend like the first 15 minutes just kind of checking in with the fam,
Yeah.
you, the chat chimers, and just kind of making sure everybody's good and everybody, just everybody's cool, see how everybody is, and just set up for what it is that we're going to talk about today. And on also, it's a Haps Friday, so we're going to talk about things that are going on coming up this weekend and this next week that we think is pretty interesting, man. There's a big gap right now, especially with the reader being down on finding out what's going on around town. It's really tough, and it's really, it's kind of we're just in an era where everybody gets their information in some kind of really personalized way.
Mm.
It's not like the old days when there was, everybody was watching Channel 7 and then a commercial come on and everybody knew what was happening. It's definitely so personalized that how do you even find out what the next person's doing, let alone looking at, thinking, saying.
Yeah. Went all the way from back in the day to the event barker standing on the soapbox on the corner
Yeah,
yelling, all the way to now it's pretty much like people whispering, "This about to
yeah.
happen." Right in your ear.
Not
Very
even that,
personal.
man. Not even that. It's even less than that. It's just like the algorithm on your phone is just like we think that you'll want to see this, and that's it.
Man,
You know,
man, man. Yeah.
I got everything on. I got all the rap shows and all the whatever on my algorithm. They didn't throw Adam Sandler's visit on mine at all, and I'm an Adam Sandler fan. So
Man, love me some Adam Sandler.
yeah,
Love me some Adam Sandler. Waterboy is still top on my list
is that
up
right?
there. Yeah, 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 yeah. He's got
Un-
he's got a few.
Uncut Jewels for me when he went.
Man, that was
Yeah,
a great film. I saw it once. I only saw it once. I need to go back, but the ending was like, man,
yeah. But his range, man, his range as an actor really showed up.
man,
Yeah.
Spanglish,
Yep. Shout out to A24. That's my favorite movie company right now.
man,
Yeah. Most def. Lots to talk about, but that's I don't want to lose sight of that because I think it's really important. Everybody is like, well, I didn't know he was coming.
exactly.
So many people in the black community didn't know Dr. Cornell West was coming.
Dr. Umar was coming.
Dr. Umar was coming. A lot of that. So there's just we got to figure out a way to really get the information out to people. We're making our little small attempt by having the haps at the end of the show, and extensive haps on Friday, and then Friends of First Sky Omaha. There's a lot of events that get put on there. But
Yep.
again, I'm really realizing this week about that's our silo. You know what I'm saying? That's that's our ecosystem, which
Hmm.
is maybe a few hundred people. So it's like it's gotta go out and get bigger. It's gotta go out and reach more folks. Mayor Sanchez says Adam spent time at Creighton doing pickup games. I didn't know that.
Okay, okay. Yeah, he wasn't just Grace and CHI with a show, man. He was in the city. I saw him down at saw him posted up at Homer. Shout out to Mark Manor.
Man, I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, man. He was out and about.
Wow, that's interesting, man. That's what's up. That's kind of his style, though. It seems to me. She says sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't. But 8 Crazy Nights is mandatory every year. Talking
Oh
about
yeah.
Miss Erica Felt. Good morning to you, Miss Erica Felt. Appreciate you coming in. Pop says, man, the fight with Bob Barker from The Price is Right was hilarious.
What was that? That was ah the name of that is just on the tip of my tongue. That's a classic too, though.
Yeah. Well,
Name it up.
what's on the tip of my tongue is a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha
Hey,
in the morning.
see what you did.
Time to get this party started. So appreciate everybody that's coming on in. And again, it is Friday, December 8th. Let's get it rolling. Let's get it rolling. Good morning. Good morning.
Hey,
Uh-oh. That's wrong. Hold on
hit
just
him
a
with the
minute.
fat finger. Come on now.
All these- Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul be the Dove, Buddi3 Da Gawd. It's happening right
Hey.
now, Friday, December 8th, 2023. Thanks
Yeah,
for
man.
joining us on this Friday. It is Haps Friday, so let us know what's going on in your world as far as what's happening this weekend and this upcoming week. We got a few things we're definitely going to talk about, and some things going on today, even. So we'll jump into that, and also some news. Nebraska Examiner kind of going off
Man.
this last couple of days. So lots of good articles that we're going to jump in and discuss on that tip. But before we get there, we're jumping in the chat real quick. Everybody's
Yeah.
trying to call out some Adam Sandler shows. Happy Gilmore was one of the suggestions.
That's
Uh,
it.
was that the one? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that's the one. When he
Yeah,
fought Bob Barker, he was golfing. Happy Gilmore. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
that's what's
Billy
up.
Madison was the one when he went back to school.
Oh yeah, okay, okay. Well, you a aficionado, Adam
I'm
Sandler.
telling you. Listen,
Yeah.
listen. Like the early, from like Wedding Singer to like Click. Yeah, I was all Adam Sandler, man. Waterboy, Billy Madison, Big
Wow.
Daddy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Classics,
That's what's up.
quotables. I can go for some time.
Wow. All right, we'll have to get into that. Brother Kasim is in the chat. He says, "Peace, fellas. Peace to you as well."
Peace, peace.
Yep. Yep. Adam Sandler was in town the night that Dr. Umar was in town, so that I told that it said where I was going to be at. I was going to miss Adam Sandler this time around. So
Man,
and a whole lot of folks, a whole lot of us did. It was a packed house at the fourth year anniversary of the BAA. So that was a great night. Wouldn't have traded it for nothing.
no, no, no.
Yep, yep. Tony Johnson in the chat says event organizers know how to get the info out. They're just not consistent.
Hmm.
It also
Okay.
takes money. And money is not consistent a lot of times too.
That part.
Yeah, it's a little tough, man. I've been in this media industry here for a little while now on both sides of the game as a promoter, somebody who needs to get the word out, and also as an outlet. And some people the people who have the ability to get the message to the people. It's a tough game, and it really has to do with everything being so individualized, and all we kind of look on our phones to find everything. A lot of people are only putting up event pages on Facebook. Not everybody's on Facebook. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
there's just it's just kind of tough, and because of the outlets like TV and radio, they've been diminished so much because of all the ad buys being on social media. They have raised their prices a lot to try to stay afloat. So it's hard
Okay.
to get anything on TV and radio again. So shout out to people like William King. Shout out to William King in particular, 95.7 The Boss, who always works with you, especially if you're a black-owned business. He'll work with you to get your commercial on his channel, and that's one of the outlets, man. We only got a few of them. So shout out to him. Shout out to Terry Sanders over there at Omaha Star. You can always buy an ad with her over there in the paper. So we got to take advantage of what we can. But the first order of business here is to find out, where do you get your news? Where do you find out what's happening around town? We need to kind of put a poll out there and find out what each individual person is saying about that. I was trying to think of my own circumstances. I definitely am on Facebook, so I get Facebook events. the feed. I never really see much on TV. I don't really listen to the radio. I hear about some events on KIOS if they sponsor some shows there sometimes. But as far as that's concerned, I used to get my what's happening from the Reader, but the Reader's no longer there.
Yeah.
Mark Manor has a new page, a website that he put together that talks about what's going on as far as the music scene is concerned. So definitely check that out. So it's just we're kind of all over the place, man, trying to glean information where we can. I hear it in the barbershop even. I'll hear about stuff that's going on at the barbershop. So where do you get your Where do you get your news? Where do you get your knowledge of events happening coming up? People still putting flyers around. Like what are we doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Let us know. Let us know how you get your information, find out about the things that you find out. And big shout out to all the supporters of us here at First Sky. Yeah, we love you. We thank you.
Very much so. Man, he fresh in the chat. Man, he fresh one says morning. That the movie was, I believe, Happy Gilmore. Man, a lot of Adam Sandler fans around here. That's what's
I'm
up.
telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Uh, Mayor Sanchez says Adam Sandler put his whole team on. That's right.
Man,
That's right. I do know that about him. The fact that he kept making movies just to employ his friends and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
with the squad. And
oh,
I mean, and even his friends went on to have their own, franchises and films like Deuce Bigelow and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
yeah. Classics.
very true, very true. Tony Johnson's over on YouTube says, does not matter where you get info from if people are not putting your info out. Groups I support send out monthly emails with upcoming events.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a couple. I'm subscribed to a couple of newsletters, and we were decided to put a newsletter together for 2024 from First Sky Omaha. So, yeah, is that one way? The email is it, everybody still using emails and getting those newsletters? Is that how you get them? Miss Erica Fell says Facebook events, Eventbrite emails, friends messaging me. Okay,
Okay.
that's what's
So
up.
word of mouth is still a thing. Word of mouth still a thing. Yeah.
Most deaf. Brother Kasim says we got to mobilize, especially black media, Omaha Star, First Sky, The Boss, etc. I think aggressive support and mobilization around our melanated media is key. We will be working on strategies going forward to address the issue. Other than that, as it pertains to Dr. Umar, our house was packed and money was raised for our archery range. Goal met. That's what's up.
Oh yeah. That's
That's what's up.
beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful as far as reaching the goals and yeah, I would definitely consider that a success, even with some people saying they didn't hear about it. Obviously, enough people heard about it to make it a packed house, make it a successful event, have have the standing room only and the energy needed. So
Yes.
yeah,
I
just
will say that reminds me of word of mouth. Word of mouth
yeah,
is a very, very important way to get stuff around. And when it comes down to it, if a successful event always has word of mouth as part of that strategy there.
you gotta
And
have it.
yeah,
You
it's
gotta have
just
it.
it's just how Omaha works too, man. Like if people ain't talking about it, then it's really you can't really depend on media at all, really, when it comes to how successful or how packed the thing is going to be. Now, there's a flip side of that in Omaha. Omaha's a pretty big city, so there's a few things going on. For instance, Doja Cat's coming to town, and Doja Cat is coming is going to be I think that's tonight. Yeah, December.
Yeah,
Yeah, at the
yeah,
CHI Health Center, and this is like going to be a sold out show.
yep,
And I just got wind of it last night. You know what I'm saying? So here we are with a major artist coming to town at a major venue. It's going to be sold out, and really didn't see nothing to hear about that either. But
yeah.
again,
I didn't. I did hear about it on 169. I will say that.
1069, yeah,
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 yeah. Just trying to, but that's me personally. I still listen to the radio. I know a lot of people don't,
right,
or a lot of people have like Sirius XM in their cars now, which is not local
right.
radio.
Yeah, everything's so personalized. But again, the word of mouth situation is really key, especially in Omaha. I feel like when there's an event that's happening and word of mouth is strong on it, then it's going to be a strong turnout. So the network that is being built by people like the BAA, Untamed, us. I feel like when we looked around Dr. Cornell West visit, we looked around and was like, man, look at all these chat chimers and ghost listeners in here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
felt like the word of mouth situation was strong, and really when it comes down to it, that's we you can't count that out. Can't count that
No,
out.
I mean, it's almost the most important part. Again, that's why teamwork definitely makes the dream work. You gotta tell your people, tell your folks, tell a friend, and tell a friend what's going on. And really, to your point, it's almost like the word of mouth is the main thing, the deciding factor. Like if I'm seeing, promo and I'm hearing commercials, that might it might register, it might just pass over my head because I'm passively listening and doing whatever I'm doing at the time. But if I'm seeing promotions and then I hear a friend talking about it, it's like, oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, and then it registers like, oh yeah, I did see it. I did hear about that. Oh, I did see that. Oh, you going? Maybe I'll go. Then it becomes a thing.
True.
So yeah, man. If you hear about something, it all starts with just communicating. Communication rules the nation. Let's talk. Let's engage with each other. Let's live a life, and tell folks what's going on.
Got to, man. Got to. I when I go into the barbershop, I usually am talking about events that's going on they haven't heard of. But when I came in one day and was like, "Yo, Dr. Umar is about to come to town." Yeah, I already know, man. I already looked and tried to get my tickets. Like they was already on that. So again, word of mouth in the black community is huge. Tamika Johnson in the chat says, "I get my news from y'all and NPR." That's what's up.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, Miss Erica Fell says getting it from y'all is for granted. Yep. I've known about her coming for a while. I can't remember where from. Okay.
Okay.
But you said it wasn't just Doja Cat. It was Ice Spice is coming with her too, huh?
Yep.
I didn't
Yep.
see it on the flyer. Jaquela Yarborough for commissioner. Brother
Yeah.
Casino said, man, got somebody running for some seats. We always are talking about getting people in seats and really kind of making some things happen. So that's what's up. She gave a powerful introduction at the Dr. Cornell West event. Other than that, I was very impressed. Oh, there it is. You got it on today. That's what's up.
Represent. Represent.
47. Come on,
Man.
47. Tony Johnson said Black votes matter, for instance. What I missed an earlier comment. Oh, he said also a few groups promote other events. No voting group share Cornell West event.
Mm.
Shout out to Miss Erica Felt, who hit up the media, the mainstream media, and have said, hey, how come this didn't happen? They shot her something back. This is all in Friends of First Sky Omaha. You can check it out. They shot her something back that was like, yeah, we don't hit every event, but I forgot what they said, man. It's kind of worth looking at because they were kind of tripping a little bit, and I was like, I've seen this. Every time I'm trying to get something going with the mainstream media, I get this kind of message. It
Like
was
it's not
real
important.
interesting. It's not. It's not important. Somebody said, who was that said a little earlier about somebody else that they had in the news pretty strongly. Probably talking about Trump. But yeah, it was kind of interesting to understand, where the mainstream media is coming from on some of this stuff. They kind of were just like, yeah, we don't.
We don't care.
Yeah, it was like we don't do we don't post every event that's happening. We're just like you're treating Dr. Cornell West like it's just some event that's happening. This is a presidential candidate. It was a trip. I'll find it and bring it back. But yeah, it was a shout out to Miss Erica Felt for reaching out and getting the answer back about why they didn't really post that very much.
Man, Tanaya Patterson, yes, right there with you. She says if it were a stray dog or cat, it would be coverage. Man, didn't they talk about the mountain lion? What wasn't there articles about the mountain lion out there?
Yep. Yep. Mountain lion got shot in Minneapolis, and they were like, and it's the one from Nebraska. That made the news because the mountain lion from Nebraska was up in Minneapolis and got shot.
But a presidential candidate comes to town. Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. Tough one. Um, Mayor Sanchez says last year, 95.7, the boss would cut out near 48th and Giles. Remember that
Giles.
joke? This year, and could hear clear into Bellevue. Thank you.
Okay.
Yep. That's what's up. Also, Tony Johnson said League of Women Voters, Urban League, etc. Yep. Get a lot of news from League of Women Voters, but again, if that's not on your radar, if you're not aware about that organization, you're kind of not hearing it on this mass level. Miss Erica Fell says I've had a woman who works in the legislature jump on to two of my Dr. West posts claiming he was anti-Semitic and that I should know better. She's shown herself for 2 days now, shaking my head. Yeah, I saw that. I read that. It was unfortunate that somebody would, be that ignorant, but it is what it is. Cheryl Weston in the chat, good morning. She said mainstream media is only interested in our news when it's negative.
Oh yeah,
Hence the reason why we started this whole thing in the first place. Tony Johnson said Omaha Star did not post either. Very true. RG in the chat again. Good morning from on YouTube. There says so. Dr. Cornel West was coming to Omaha, can make C-SPAN, but can't make the Rudy Poot local media. Right. Exactly. C-SPAN was in the house.
yeah.
CNN was it CNN or C-SPAN? I
It
think it
was
was C-SPAN.
C-SPAN.
Yep. Once again, like I said, national attention, but not local.
That's
Uh,
all right. That's all right.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, we talk about it all the time, and that just makes us, it takes our faith away from. That's why we don't pay too much attention sometimes to what's going on commercials or on major media channels. It's not reaching the people. Once again, like you were saying, buddy, if it's the deciding factor, if it's a situation that's going on where it's word of mouth,
Mm-hmm.
people are talking to each other about what's happening, and so on. So, and then, like I said, man, I reached out to everybody about Dr. Umar and about Dr. West coming, and it was really strange. Some of the reactions that I got, people were like, "Oh yeah, for real? Okay, yeah, I'll be there." And it was obvious that they were, whatever the deal was, or
Mm-hmm.
they went into a 10-minute speech about what they don't agree with, or whatever. And I'm just like, look, the point here is that the black community is coming together over a thing. You should just, make sure that you come through. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
called
okay, yeah.
solidarity.
Yeah, man. So, the lack of solidarity is becoming very, very, very apparent to me, and it's making it way more important for us to really kind of get together on it. We don't have to agree on everything that everybody says. We just got to try to get together and be able to talk it through. Hopefully, this show is an example of being able to have discussions with people that you don't fully agree with, in order to still respect each other's opinion and viewpoint, and still show some solidarity behind that. So that whole who gonna be there stuff got to stop, man. Who all gonna be there? Before you decide to go somewhere, man. Support. It's
That
got to
part.
stop.
That part.
Miss Erica Phil says I pronounce it like Jay Giles band. Yeah, that's why that's an old joke. We'll leave that one back in the mind and soul days. Tony Johnson said Black Omaha media not sharing, but people from Black Omaha media were definitely in attendance.
Yep. Supporting. Yep.
Yep. Jaquela Yarborough says Black solidarity is key. We have to start moving as a block. Period.
Period.
It's real.
Period. That's it. That's it. And again, solidarity doesn't mean you agree with everything. It means that, you're willing to go with the greater good.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, we're gonna keep on promoting that. It's kind of the reason why we exist, is to bring things together that way. It's key. I always think about that quote that Fred Hampton used to say: "No matter what color you are, there's only two classes." Just thinking about the separation
Man, that's
all
it.
the time. You know what I'm saying? It's huge, but also, of course, what Brother Malcolm says. Well, we are not outnumbered; we are out organized.
There you go.
Come on with it. Let's get organized. Speaking of that, 7:33 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we did talk about a few stories that we had. Shout out to Nebraska Examiner for coming through this last couple of days with some really interesting stuff. Buddy, you want to talk a little bit about what it is we're going to talk about today as far as news?
Yeah, a little bit before that, just real quick, man. How you doing? What's going on
Oh
in your
yeah, yeah,
world?
I'm good. I'm good. Like I said, I'm still floating from last week, man.
Man.
Last week was incredible. You're talking about one of the best weeks in Omaha for me. So shout out to everybody who was behind all of those things, man. From BAA, Untamed, Dr. Cornel West, Dr. Umar, Kethro DJing at the after party. I mean,
Man.
all the folks that was out, all the folks that we met, all the award winners, Kimra. You know what I'm saying? It was just great, man. Just kind of like the feeling of community this last week is stronger than ever for me. So I'm still floating on that, and just digging in, just already kind of on what's going to happen in season 7. So I've been digging into tech real hard on trying to make sure that we don't have any more tech problems when we have major guests come on the show and all that good stuff, and just like the changes that we're going to be making for season 7 and all that.
Hmm.
Very excited about what's happening. I'm already, even before the break, like digging in and just excited about it. So
Yeah, man.
big changes, big things happening in 2024, and that's what I'm on right now. I'm gonna try to stay on that cloud for a minute, because you know how life goes.
Oh
But
yeah.
I'll try to stay on that cloud for as long as I can. So I appreciate you asking.
Man, yeah, still floating indeed. Energy is high. So let's keep it up, man. Let's keep it up. As always, join the conversation. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. Let us know what's going on in your world and a few things that we would like to talk about today and come together and try to find some solutions, man.
Yeah.
That's the big thing, not just doom and gloom, but finding the solutions and knowing that we can find the solutions in many areas. One of the big areas we're looking at and still hoping to get some support, especially for our senators coming up in the next session, of course, is prison and criminal justice reform. Again, Nebraska Examiner and Cindy Gonzalez releasing an article just yesterday looking at how researchers are exploring how to better tap into Nebraska's prison population to fill labor gaps. This is something that has been talked about quite a few times, and one of the ideas put out again to possibly train inmates and give them on a track to employment after incarceration. So yeah, definitely talk about that, and also big shout out to Metro Community College as we're still working with them to document their recidivism and reentry program. So definitely, again, big shout out to Diane Good Collins and the folks at Metro Community College.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. In other news, looking at housing, that's still a big issue. U.S. House Democrats are actually pushing for some changes, and actually big shout out to Flatwater Free Press as housing residents in Omaha specifically are facing eviction more often and sometimes over small debts. Kind of really just now feeling that wave after the pandemic, some of the funds drying up, some of the assistance out there not as available, and now people feeling the impact, and especially HUD and OHA. So we'll definitely talk about that. Big shout out to Flatwater Free Press for this article.
Yes.
Also, a big shout out to our resident child care providers, Miss Erica Phelps, Sister Gwen Easter, always keeping us on top of things going on with that, realizing just how important our child care providers are. And there's opportunity for us to support and push our representatives to get them some support. Apparently, $16 billion in federal funds is supposed to be going out nationally as our U.S. House Democrats are calling for that support. I believe 92 million of that is supposed to come to Nebraska, which would definitely help everybody. Again, especially those of us with young folks struggling to pay for child care. It can be expensive. And also for our child care providers struggling to stay open. This should help across the board, man. So we'll definitely talk about that and how to get some support mobilized around that situation. Again, First Guy Omaha is all about the fam, all about the babies. So, make sure they have quality childcare, not just childcare, but again, quality childcare. So and definitely talking about that. Also, still looking at what's going on with our state legislature. Apparently, they are pushing a bill that will possibly resolve this whole separation of powers dispute. Again, the Attorney General's office leaving a legal opinion that has definitely been controversial, blocking state legislatures and those who are supposed to be kind of keeping the checks and balance balanced, not getting able to get information and being blocked from our child welfare services and prisons as far as what's really going on behind those closed doors. So again, a lot of things to talk about here in the state. But as always, if there's anything happening in your minds or your hearts and your communities, let us know. We'll try to get into it.
Most def. Most def. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back in and jump into some articles. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. Oh, before we go, Brother Kasim says, like I said at the event, a lot of the of so-called black leadership weren't allowed to show up to neither. Both he's talking about Dr. Umar or Dr. Cornell West said, not a peep, no respect, no repost, no shares, no social media, no nothing. He said, "I see him, and I know who they are. They too are responsible. They are not responsible. They too are responsible for not pushing the message to due to this fear. Their fear.
Mm.
Sorry, man, my eyes are all blurry this morning. I need to put my readers on. Yeah, man. That's a great. I appreciate you bringing that out. That I did run into a lot of that. A lot of people that kind of not in not so many words kind of hinted. I don't know if I can support that. Okay, all right. Like I said, we're going for solidarity here, so we got to figure out how we can get there for sure. Tony Johnson said people must remove selfish spotlight desire before black solidarity happens in black Omaha.
Mm.
Yeah, that's one thing. One thing you got to let go for sure.
That
Uh,
ego.
Yep, we'll jump into some more comments in these stories here as coming up. In the meantime, between time, stay tuned. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to First Guy Omaha Radio, First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, Chat Chimers, Ghost listeners, stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. You're listening to First Guy Omaha Radio, First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you Chat Chimers, Ghost listeners, radio listeners, please hit the like button. As Brother Sanchez is saying, appreciate everybody who has jumped into the chat and given us a good morning. Good morning, Miss Gwen Easter. Appreciate you very much. Sarah Fell says, by the way, woman claiming Dr. West is anti-Semitic isn't Jewish. I am. Okay. You're going through a little battle over there, I see. Yeah.
Man. And you said this woman was a state legislator?
Oh, that was she?
I think that's what she said. Let us know.
Yeah, let's make sure we write about that.
Yeah. But also in the chat, Miss Erica Feld giving us some marching orders. Maybe we should just go ahead and dive into that. She says, please contact your congressman to tell them we want the Child Nutrition Act, the CCDBG revision passed so we can have affordable quality care with healthy food for our children each day. So a big shout out for reminding us of that. And let's get mobilized.
Yeah, absolutely. Which article we can jump into real quick? Is there's something that's connected to the child care thing that we were?
Yeah. We actually do have a couple articles about that. Again, there's some things happening both nationally and locally that we should be made aware of. Again, U.S. House Democrats and advocates are pushing for additional federal child care funding from the national government. Looks like the Biden administration has put together a $16 billion supplemental child care funding request. And House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York and also House Whip Catherine Clark of Massachusetts have gathered with child care advocates and other House Democrats at a press conference earlier this week. Outside the U.S. Capitol, the child care providers with Care Can't Wait, which is a coalition, they discussed their support for the Biden administration's supplemental funding request. Care Can't Wait coalition includes organizations such as the Service Employee International Union and Community Change Action. Community Change Action specifically is a group advocating for low-income people, especially low-income people of color, quote unquote, according to the organization's website. Members of the coalition also spent the day lobbying lawmakers in a call for action on child care funding. Other Democrats showing support at the press conference included U.S. Reps Rosa DeLauro of Connecticut, Susan Bonamici of Oregon, Louise Frankel of Florida, and Cyril Jacobs of California. Again, $16 billion in supplemental funds possibly coming to states across the country, which will help to continue support for child care providers. This funding would, quote unquote, support more than 220,000 child care providers across the country that serve a total of more than 10 million children. That's according to a November White House press release. Again, Hakeem Jeffries says House Democrats will do whatever it takes, quote unquote, to support child care providers. He said Democrats will stand strongly and fight for the entire amount of funding. And hopefully, again, Nebraska Democrats will support this support and stand up with their fellow Democrats. Again, $92 million specifically could come to Nebraska and that would definitely help a lot of our child care providers. Actually, the grants will go directly to the providers and are given to licensed child care providers. Grants can be used for things like wages, employee benefits, rent or mortgage payments, utilities, and other items needed to sustain a child care environment. The grants help child care providers keep their doors open. According to Jason Prokop, who's the director of First Five Nebraska, he says they've been essential, and definitely, uh, again, that essential workers phrase coming from the pandemic, and finding out and recognizing just how essential our child care providers are. The additional rounds of funds will be implemented by Congress. So again, let's get our legislators to support this. According to the White House, the 92 million will go to about 2,270 licensed providers and help about 103,000 children in Nebraska alone. So and that could go a long way for us to get that support. And if any of us have any children out there, if any of us have, I've dealt with this firsthand. But again, if any of you have dealt with trying to get childcare, we all know just how expensive it can be. And then again, definitely thanks to that woman, Miss Erica Felt, and also Sister Gwen Easter for kind of giving us some behind the scenes looks of what it means to own a childcare facility and try to maintain one. So big shout out. And also just a little legacy thing, finding out this is hitting home for me, finding out my great grandmother again was the first black owned child care facility, I believe, in the state. So shout out to the Magic Door.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what's up. Yeah, we this is one of those things we call evergreen topics here for First Guy Omaha. Thanks to Miss Erica Felt, Miss Gwen Easter, and we've been following the whole kind of story behind it. We realize a lot of things that they're saying. It costs a lot to have a facility. Paying employees is huge as well. So being able to
Hmm.
have extra people come in and being able to pay a decent wage to an employee to grow the business and to serve the need. There's it seems to me like this industry can't really exist, especially in its current form, without some kind of subsidy, without some kind of help. So this is apparently why Nebraska Dems are going hard on trying to do that. Does anybody know about any of the hoops that you got to jump through in order to even receive some of these funds? Ms. Erica Fell, have you
Man.
reached out and tried to get these funds? Are they available for you to even get? What all you have to go through to get them? I'd like to know about a little bit more details about what's going on there from somebody firsthand, if you have that information. Cheryl Weston says, where was it at? I just missed it. Says we need more input into the child care issue as to who and where the child care funds are distributed.
Man,
Well,
it's a
Steph,
great comment.
Are,
It's a great
are they
comment.
going? Are they
Um,
going to some of these foundational child care facilities that are making it free for people to bring their kids? Where's this money actually going? Is kind of the really good question as well. Miss Erica Felt says, I'm not clear what. Oh, she says it's also backed by the National Association of Family Child Care in-home child care providers. So that
okay.
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that is. I think that's an important part. Kind of to the question: is it these big, multinational, major corporate facilities that that we're seeing popping up, or is it kind of your small business, mom and pop, in home child type situations? What? Yeah, where does that fall? And also, one important part about this is the licensing. Again, you have to be a licensed child care provider to get this. And I do remember Miss Erica Felt giving us a little background about licensing and getting licensed and making sure you're on top of your licensing and doing all your testing and all the things that you have to do to stay up to date in the state of Nebraska, and how hard that is because of the lack of staff. Again, Miss Erica Felt told us that there's been some times where she's missed out on her licensing and wasn't able to have everything in order, not because of things that she was doing or had control of, but because the agents and the people that she needed to file her documents and go through her documents weren't available, or were just swamped with other cases. So definitely something to look out for as far as licensing, and really interested in who that affects. Are there certain people who have struggling with their licensing? Are there certain people or organizations that are prioritized when it comes to licensing? How does that really work? So again, definitely thank you. And if you have any more information, uh, let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know.
In the chat, she says these funds aren't approved yet. Part of the proposal is for higher and more consistent pay for providers who accept child care subsidy families, Title 20. So,
Mm.
so this is the reason why you're putting that out there, saying, contact your legislators, in order to really push, push them to go ahead and approve these, or put it on their radar. Whatever it is
Mhm.
we need to do in order for them to uh, be ready for it. She says, please contact your congressman, to tell them we want the Child Care Nutrition Act and the CCDBG revision passed, so we can have affordable quality care with healthy food for our children each day. So contact your congressman and let them know that we want this to happen. It's,
Yep, Congress has to approve the funds. These are federal funds. And Tony Johnson, to answer your question, yes, on the national level, Democrats are behind this. Democrats are supporting this. Again, this is a Biden plan, so it's coming from the Biden administration. Of course, Biden is a Democrat. So yes, nationally, we are seeing Democrats support that. But again, always interesting who we call our allies and things like that, and why we have the conversations we're having about the two-party system, the duopoly, as Dr. Cornell West calls it, because in the chat, Miss Erica Phelps saying black nor white are supporting, as far as who's getting behind this locally. So yeah, again, please call your congressman and get them to help, because this is good. This is good legislation, if I do say so myself, man. Even the fact that it's going to directly to the providers,
yeah.
having again personal experience. My wife and I, we applied for child care subsidy and assistance here in Atlanta, and basically we fell in that gray area. Again, if you make too much but not make enough to actually get what you need, a lot of families are falling in that. So it is interesting. Is it funds, or is the assistance going directly to families? Is it going directly to the providers? So I do think, if this goes to the providers, that could go a long way towards first making equality, and also maybe helping them with some of the prices.
Yep. Sean McCarthy in the chat says, thanks for passing this information on, Miss Erica Felt. I'll be calling today. So good
Nice.
conversations going on there. Yes, and I want to echo that too. Thank you very much for passing on this information. Boost to the Roof season 6. Hope that for this situation means, call your congressman, tell them that we need this thing happening. We need to pass it and get some help for our local
Hmm.
child care providers. Yeah, Tony Johnson, I did. That was a misspeaking on my part. Nebraska Democrats. I did say Nebraska Dems, but I meant national Dems. To clarify, it doesn't sound like we're getting much help from anybody in our local area on this. So, hence the reason why we got to start calling our congressmen, and try to help push this. So that's what's up. She
Yeah.
says, if it passes, Miss Erica Felt, if it passes, more child care programs will accept subsidized families, meaning more families can work with their sister in quality care. Your sister? And quality care. Sean McCarthy, I'm sorry, Tony Johnson said, thank you for the clarification. State, local parties should be sharing and championing this in Nebraska. They should be, for sure. Yep, absolutely. Mr. Rickenfeld says the CCDBG revision will increase the income limit for families, so more families will qualify for subsidy.
Nice. Okay.
So it's not just going to help the child care providers, but also the families if this goes through, which is important as well. So that's what's up.
Yeah. Okay. Miss Erica give us more context. She says locally, politicians are only interested in centers and programs in schools. So again, what does that mean for our in-home child care providers, our small businesses, if you will, our community entities? Again, the feeling is kind of that these mega centers and programs are really of the community. You know what I mean? So very, very interesting. And I would like to point out in this article that there are a few local congressmen that are quoted in this article, Don Bacon and Mike Flood, both saying that they acknowledge the scarcity and expense of childcare is a burden for families, and that childcare is a critical priority for Nebraska's growing workforce, which we'll be talking about here in a second, as far as what childcare means for the workforce, because again, that's a big issue that many individuals in the state have been trying to solve. So yeah, very, very interesting. How many different ways we can look at this, and really the impact of our childcare industry.
So I want to throw out there, just for the next minute or so, a little bit of a beyond this particular thought for me, because I'm having these visions of like Black Panther Party providing like breakfast for kids,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't really have the child care issues that we have these days back then, but they were about taking care of the kids, and I'm sure that they had things set up that I probably don't even know about, that did help for the helping of the caring for the children. And I'm just wondering now, after I've just had a week of Black nationalism, understanding what we need to do as far as solidarity is concerned in our community and do for ourselves and do for our own. I want that to also be my thought. It's great to go reach out to our Congress people and get subsidies and help, but what can us in our community do? I can see
Man.
us rallying some kind of way in order to create a subsidy for our local child care facilities, like Miss Erica felt, like Miss Gwen Easter, or figuring out some kind of movement of solidarity in order to make sure that our kids get to these kinds of facilities. At least spread the word about like some of the dangers for about putting our children in some of these bigger foundational facilities. So yeah, just kind of want to throw that out there as well. We're talking about this specific thing, but I like to also put the thought on top of that. How can we boots to the roots do something about the child care crisis in our neighborhoods? You know what I'm saying?
Man, man, I love that. I love that, and I appreciate you for putting that out there. Because yeah, yeah. I mean, how did the Black Panther Party, support and finance that program that fed thousands and thousands of children nationally and was so successful that the federal government basically just took the whole program?
Yeah, yeah. If those of you don't know, the Black Panther started WIC and everything else that we
Man,
still got today. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm thinking about the building that we were in that Dr. Umar was speaking at. What was what was it called? The
AOS,
AOS,
Assembly of Saints.
Assembly of Saints, man. And I'm just thinking all the space in there, the cafeteria situation there. When I walked into the cafeteria to get food that night, I just was picturing like this is where the Black Panthers would be at doing the school
Mm,
lunch, school breakfast program. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
uh,
But they weren't just feeding, they were educating as well. Like it's going back to the whole conversation about schools and really, what type of role, I guess is the word I'm thinking of, does a school play in our communities? I mean, what can a school mean to a community as far as services and just support?
yeah, something to think about, something to continue to talk about, something to get down to some action on. I mean, when it's all said and done, I think my viewpoint, my standpoint is you got to do all of it. You got to do all of it. You got to press for getting money, getting the taxes that you are already paying back to help do what you got to do in your
Hmm.
neighborhoods. At the same time, you got to do what you got to do in your neighborhoods on your own, because who's going to look out? If not us, then who?
Right.
Yeah,
Man, Tony Johnson in the chat says back in the day, Vivian Strong School played key role in North Omaha. There's a school named after Sister Strong. This is
I didn't
kind of news to
know that.
me. Let me know about that. Vivian Strong School. Yeah, yeah. Give me a little more background.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Ms. Erica says, I was told I didn't get the employee assistance funds last year. I was ineligible this year. I was closed for breast cancer last year. Shake my head. So, hoops. We talk about those things
Oh
too.
yeah,
There's
red tape.
yeah, red tape and hoops you got to jump through, and then you can get turned down. I mean, at the mercy of of the help that we need because the system is so messed up and broken. And what can we do? What can we do is kind of really when it comes down to it, what can we do? So I gotta kind of approach everything with that now after learning what I learned, hearing what I'm hearing, thinking of love first, the way that Dr. Cornell West always speaks of this. You got to
Man.
start with love and love for the people who don't have and who are being oppressed and are having some struggles. And of course, children being the most vulnerable of us, how are they getting treated out here? How are they getting taken care of? When I think about how important it is that we got Miss Erica Felt, Miss Gwen Easter, that are caring for the kids with love and not just watching them, not just babysitting, but actual education,
Mm-hmm.
educating the kids, and making sure that they're safe and taken care of. And I'm thinking about what's in the news just recently about the little baby that passed away because of the neglect and being left in the car, and what that
Mm.
does to our local, our mom and pop shops when it comes to childcare. This is that was this that's going to be more ammo for them to say it needs to be out of our hands. But we need more people in our neighborhoods. We need more interaction with our childcare providers in our neighborhoods that are taking care, that care more about what's going on with our kids than you would take them
Right.
to major facilities. So it's a
Yeah.
lot.
I mean, anytime I have these conversations or we have these conversations here on the show, I'm thinking of, the daycares that I went to growing up and the impact that it had on my life. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I vividly still remember all, all of the daycares that I went to, and it plays a big role in just who we are and who we become as people. So big shout out to all of our child care providers, man, shaping and molding the young minds out there.
Yes, yes. Appreciate everybody who's jumping in on this subject. We need to definitely talk about this kind of stuff more, and not just talk about it, but get down to some action. Let's figure out a plan. Let's put the plan out there, get it together, and see if we can help and support and everything we need to do. And really, like I said, it's all about the kids' welfare. In the end, it's about,
Man.
but it's also about our community, and it's about our economy in our community, and everything else. It's all wrapped up into one. It's a very, very detailed subject. So we'll continue to talk about it. Right now, it's 8 o'clock. If you believe in the concept of time, we're moving into the second hour of First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yeah, Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, thank you very much for that. Really appreciate everybody that's come through. Tony Johnson said Ed Poindexter and David Rice coordinated it. What was that? Omaha Black Panthers set it up. Short-lived effort,
Man.
but impactful. Back in the day,
Hmm.
Vivian Strong School. Interesting. Okay, so I'll just put his three comments together here.
Yep, yep, yep.
That is, I'd love to do some deep dive into the history there, man. That's really interesting. Wow. I wonder if Kiki
Man.
Zyko knows. She probably got some information on that.
I don't find it it's not coincidental that brother Ed Poindexter and David Rice were the coordinators of a Vivian Rice school and
Interesting.
now being treated as political prisoners.
Mm, that's deep. That's deep.
Hey, I'm just putting two and two together, man.
About that story about the young child that passed away, Miss Erica Fell says, come to find out, the center driver was hired illegally and under the table, so he wouldn't have to pay child support. He didn't have license requiring training. I feel
Mm.
for everybody involved there, man. The child care facility, who probably is struggling just to stay open, and decided to kind of circumvent some protocol there. The driver who made this terrible mistake, but you can imagine how this man feels. And also, of course, the family first. Shout out to Sherman Wells. He's got a podcast as well, a video podcast, and he had the family on. He spoke to them for close for over an hour about the case and about the situation. He gave them some light, and then tried to give them some support. And they put some messages out about it. If you need to check it out, go to Sherman Wells' page and definitely find his podcast and his video podcast. We'll put that in Friends of First Sky Omaha as well. But definitely shout out to Sherman Wells for giving the family some time and trying to help heal in the way that he did it as well. So shout out to the family. But man, everybody involved, I just feel for him. What a horrible situation. But just goes to show, man, it's tough all the way around. You gotta spend money to vet people. You got to make sure that you're hiring people at a higher level. They need to be able to go through all of the licenses and required trainings and everything to make sure that these kids are going to be okay. And of course, in this society, that takes a bunch of money. It's unfortunate that's the case, and our economy just. I don't ever see a solution except for subsidies, and I know subsidies don't ever last,
Right.
and you can't depend on them. Sometimes they're not there. If you don't jump through the right hoops, you don't get them. So we got to do something with our own front side dollars. You know what I'm saying? The front side dollars, the dollars that we spend out of our pocket, we got to do something to help supplement what we need to supplement here in our neighborhood. So more thought on that. Give us some ideas. Let's try to put some kind of plan together on that and see what we can do to extend that. So uh, it's a shame. She says nope. He was hired illegally. He should have never been there. They put money ahead of our children.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely an unfortunate situation. So yeah, we'll kind of keep our eyes on that, see how that plays out. If any legal, things will happen, but Yeah, prayers going out to the family,
For
man.
sure. On a more positive note, though, Jaquela Yarborough's in the chat saying
Yep.
we have free tutoring, act prep, life skills, and social emotional learning, Monday through Friday,
Okay.
5 to 7. Also, early child care. If y'all need a place to meet and strategize, pull up. She says tons of folks doing the right thing. Let's link up.
There you
Appreciate
go. There you go. And that's what we're all about here. Solution. So let us know, give more context. Where is that? How can we get in contact with that organization doing that good work? Yeah, let us know. Let us know.
Very, very true. 8:05 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, let's get to the next article so we can definitely get some of these news articles out before we get to the Haps. Again,
Yeah,
this
man.
is Haps Friday today, so get your Haps together. Let us know what's going on this weekend and the following week, and we'll have some for you too a little bit later on in the show. So stay tuned for that. And please, if you're on Facebook and YouTube, share the show on your page so we get as many people in the conversation as possible. And with that, buddy, what's next on the agenda?
Yeah, we're gonna move into housing, man. It's kind of hard to, it's difficult to, get into childcare and really talk about those things if you don't even have a roof over your head, man. So that's definitely something we should be made aware of and looking at. A big shout out to Flatwater Free Press for this article, looking at what's going on specifically from OHA, man. The Omaha Housing Authority, according to this article, has been evicting people at an alarming rate. Actually, more people this year have been evicted since 2017. OHA has filed to evict tenants more than 400 times this year, and 85% of the time over money allegedly owed by tenants. But exactly how much money? You'll be surprised to find out that a lot of these evictions are at the amount of pretty much a dinner. 35, 60, $75 in all. OHA filed to evict more than 4 dozen tenants who owed less than $300. So, according to a Flatwater Free Press analysis of court records, legal fees imposed sometimes actually more than doubled what they actually owed in many cases. These are among the findings in the first of several stories on OHA, one of Nebraska's largest landlords. So, expecting more information to come out from Flatwater about exactly what's going on with the OHA or what's happening. Again, just side note, if you remember, here on this show, we had a lot of conversation about what was going on in the Omaha Housing Authority buildings, specifically, I believe the Benson Towers, what's going on with the bed bugs. If you remember that whole situation.
Southside Towers. I can't remember which towers they were.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but really, most of the towers, if not all of the towers, have some issue, one issue or another. Of course, you remember Paula's going into the Benson Towers during the Mine and Soul days, as the radio signal tower was on top of that building, and just kind of seeing, the state of the elevator barely working sometimes, or some of the locks on doors not really working. It's just very interesting to see the conditions that some of these people have to live in, and then on top of that, being evicted for owing $30. That could be worked out in a payment plan or something, but yet it's still enough to put people in tents. Actually, there's one gentleman who they kind of tell the story in this article, Mr. Bob Paniska, who apparently is disabled. He has had his foot amputated, and that wasn't enough to stop him from being evicted. He eventually had to pitch a tent next to a Casey's gas station in Carter Lake. And apparently, that is the fate of many tenants in OHA properties, having to decide what to do after eviction. OHA management says the agency is bound by financial realities and federal regulations that require tenants, including the poorest who pay little in rent and often face small dollar evictions, to be treated the same. The uptick in eviction filings is unavoidable, according to management. Actually, CEO Joni Poor says, "We're here because we care about who we're serving and how we serve them. We're trying to do that while still complying with the rules and regulations that we have." So it is very interesting to kind of hear that. Again, there was, especially in considering the fact that there are millions and millions, possibly even billions of dollars given out federally to help those in need of rental assistance. Again, Omaha tenants started receiving legal representation after the COVID-19 pandemic. Over $90 million in federal rental assistance flowed to the city's landlords from 2021 all the way to this year, 2023. That's according to Match, which is the Metro Area Continuum of Care for the homeless. And apparently those funds dried up in August, and now we're seeing kind of the result of really the can being kicked down the road.
Man, Jaquilla Yarborough saying that's why I'm confused about getting evicted from these horrible living conditions. I am too. I mean, if there's rental assistance, first of all, why wouldn't it go to the people who need it the most? Um, you wouldn't if you living in the towers because you having housing issues, income issues. Um, I don't I don't get you have a reduced rent and if you can't make that sometimes then you might be in a little bit of trouble and why they wouldn't be able to just forgive that as a state run situation it doesn't make sense. It's messed up. Um, Maggie Miller Jenkins in the chat says landlords are unethical.
Mm,
It's and I like how you're saying just breaking that word down tells you how antiquated the idea is. Landlord. How is that still a relevant job title? What I'm gonna what I'm looking at though is this OHA is acting like landlords a little bit with that.
man, I mean, according to this article, the large OHA is one of the largest, if not the largest, land owner and landlord in the state.
Maggie Miller Jenkins says, "Is there an Omaha tenants and housing organization? There's a Lincoln community organization that does tenant rights help. Yes, there's one out here called Tenants United. That we kind of knew who the person was that helped start that, and yeah, they've done a lot of good work. I'm sure that this is something that'll be on their radar as well. But we
Yeah,
can call and make sure because I mean, how ridiculous! You're already in the towers. You're gonna get evicted over $30.
man. And we've also spoken to a few local attorneys who's doing the work. Shout out to Dave Pantos and also Brian Hansen, who's been doing pro bono cases and helping eviction tenants with eviction notices.
And helping bring some of these millions of dollars that have come in for rental assistance, helping them get their hands on that money to get some assistance.
Right.
Who is benefiting from that? It's that's crazy. Tony Johnson said, "Need to hear from the brother Sal Isaka from OHA." Yeah, it'd be nice to talk to somebody from OHA for sure. Jaquila Yarbrough says there is they meet at the they meet at the Benson Library. I'll have to look it up. Talking about
Yeah.
Tennis United or another group. Miss Erica Felt says HUD just announced about a week ago that they are giving 30-day notices to tenants in rent default. It was just 15 days.
Mm.
As much as the problem that we're having out here with housing, this is a real discouraging um, article and things to think about here. The people that need help the most are not getting it. And can you imagine? Just like I said, you're already in the towers, and you gonna get evicted from the towers. Where do you go after the towers? Like the
Right.
brother said, you in the tent now.
Pretty much. And just to put it in perspective, again, going to the whole conversation about a livable wage, many of according to this article, it says the average annual income of an OHA household is roughly about $14,000. So a little over $1,000 a month.
Well, boy, this is
And again, roughly, I mean, when you think about who is in these houses, in these facilities, what is the demographic of these tenants, and most of them are disabled, dealing with addiction, elderly, people who need
I
help.
wouldn't say most. I wouldn't say most of them are. Some of them are, and those are some of the vulnerable ones that are in there. But
Hmm.
I got family members that live in the towers, and they go to work at plastic companies and stuff like that all the time and try to make that rent.
Man,
They're the ones that are out on boots on the ground working, taking every job they can take to try to pay their rent. It's people that can't really afford. They when I went to housing assistance when I was in that situation a couple of years back where where I was looking for a place to stay. I kind of
hmm
went to call some of these situations too, even realtors and all kinds of people, and they were telling me you need to go look at the towers because you ain't making enough money. And I was okay. So I looked at the towers, and I'm understanding what the situation is at the towers. Like a whole lot of working folks in there trying to pay the bills, man. They just don't make. Sometimes they don't make enough money for some of these other kinds of high rents and stuff that's out here.
man, and I again want to double down on just how much. how far behind some of these people are on their rent. It's not much. Again, there's another story in this article of a woman named Mindy Race, who apparently is taking social work classes, or going to your point of people who are actually working and trying to better themselves and looking, trying to kind of proverbially pull up their bootstraps, if you will. And she's dealing with things like coming home to find her locks changed. Apparently, OHA initiated the eviction over a $60 debt she owed for replacement keys. So it's not even her not paying the rent; it's just $60 that she owed for replacement keys. A Race, who receives only a $25 monthly allowance from the county, said she couldn't pay it, which led to her locks being changed. Nearly a third of evictions OHA filed for financial debts this year were for less than $500, according to a Flatwater Free Press analysis. Race was one of 5 tenants who received eviction notes over less than $100. And apparently this practice isn't new. Flatwater apparently reviewed filings for as far back as 2018 over debts as low as $38.
Yeah, tripping over that. OHA's tripping over that.
And again, they're saying like these $38 is keeping them from paying the bills.
In the chat, Maggie Miller Jenkins is saying, where are the veterans supposed to go, or disabled people? Jaquila Yarbrough says, older, fixed income, disabled, the most vulnerable society. And people that don't have those issues, people that are just out of work, people or formerly incarcerated that can't find decent jobs, or people that are working 2-3 jobs just to try to pay the rent. I mean, we don't throw a whole bunch of numbers out there all the time, but we do talk pretty openly about the state of housing in our city, and how much rents are. One bedroom be $1,000 these days. Where are the places that you can, that if you're making under a certain amount of money, you can still have a decent place to stay. Those are always places that the word landlord gets attached to. Places that aren't really fit to stay in sometimes. It's pretty tough. And the towers have been especially hard to hear stories from. Like you said, bed bugs, heating situations not right, water situations not right.
Man, if you remember the photos that were surfacing and circulating around social media about the
Black
mold in
mold,
some of the hallways.
right? Shout out to Miss Erica. Shout out to Amy H. Dot and the team that went out there, Miss Kimmer Snipes, the team that went out to the towers to try to talk to the people and make sure they were okay when those bed bug stories and stuff came out. I mean, it's something else, and now this is just the icing on the cake. Now you're gonna get evicted over $30. Miss Erica Fell says, I know a 70-year-old man who's a dwarf that lives in Park South Tower. No air conditioning. Heat doesn't warm up the concrete floors. Shake my head. Violence in the elevators and hall. He's a prisoner in his unit.
In his own unit.
Tony Johnson said, these new affordable housing projects in North Omaha do not look like as beneficial as thought to be. More people evicted than homeowners available. Jaquila Yarbrough says, problems is landlords can't raise rents and don't have to provide safe housing. They can raise rents and don't have to provide. Now, I've been in that situation before too. And there's a lot of people that they're living in messed up situations and won't tell the landlord, so the landlord doesn't raise the rent. Because as soon as they complain about something that needs to be fixed, then the landlord will come in there and raise the rent on them. That's a messed up situation too. Maggie Miller Jenkins says, how can we create a community fund for these situations? That's a great question. Back to that for sure. I was thinking that too, especially for situations like that. We can raise some money that, if somebody needs $30 to not be evicted. I mean, that's crazy, man.
Man, yeah. I mean, $60, $70, less than $100.
So many funds out there already. I just don't understand. There's millions of dollars that come in for rental assistance. How are they not getting that? Number one. Number two, here we are in that situation again where we're having to discuss that. Even though that millions of our tax dollars are tied up somewhere, not getting to the people that need rental assistance, we're still talking about coming front side money and trying to help, because that's how messed up the situation is.
Yeah.
Tony Johnson says, sounds like a great mission opportunity for churches nearby. That is if
Hmm.
people in the towers go to the church, then, those churches might help, but if they're not going to those particular churches, they probably are not getting the help.
Yeah. And what about hotels? What are hotels helping? Could that be opportunity for hotels to help?
Doubt it. Doubt it.
Highly doubt it. But
Jess
an
Parker
idea.
Jess Parker in the chat says, "Because there are so many stipulations to be able to qualify to access any of those assistance funds."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Red tape, hoops.
like you said, shout out to the lawyers that are doing this pro bono, trying to help people get past them hoops.
Yeah.
Tanaya Patterson says OHA doesn't have enough employees, so the evictions lightens the caseload. Woo, man.
Hmm.
Like every
Hmm.
other program serving the poor are deliberately underfunded. This is true. We haven't said that yet too. Thank you, Tanaya Patterson, for saying that. We live in a state where they don't want to take any government money. They think it's all a handout. They think people are lazy. There's that paternalism. It
Yeah.
permeates every instance of government agency out here. And here's
Well,
another one.
what was that that comment, that quote you always say from Iowa's governor
Yeah,
about the hammock?
yeah. Kim Reynolds at one point says, "We don't want our safety net to turn into a hammock," and it just sums up to me exactly what is going on in Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, sometimes Missouri. They have this idea that if you that you can't that people are supposed to do all this on their own, and they don't, and nobody ever needs any help. You never should take help. It's permeated or Omaha public school system.
Mm.
They don't want to take any money, even though there's lawmakers and senators trying to get them more money so that they can pay teachers better. They don't. They say we don't need any more money. We don't want to take any more handouts.
Yet they're closing down special education programs.
Maggie Miller Jenkins says the system that created these problems will never be the ones to fix it. You ain't lying. Kessler Hagen says, "I'd be willing to make a donation as well if we can find a way to get it to the right places to help these people."
Yeah, yeah. Again, if anybody knows any organizations that's fighting this, the one that we kind of are familiar with is Tenants United. But if you know of any other organizations or anyone else in this fight, definitely let us know, man. We might have to bring back Dave Pontos to see what's going on with the work that he's doing, or Brian
It's a
Hansen.
great idea. We should check in with Heart Ministries too. They got programs and stuff
Yeah,
like that help a lot. And man, if it comes down to First Sky or BAA or any of these organizations, gotta help. Just direct some funds. I mean, some of that work means boots to the roots, going and talking to the people and finding out case by case what's happening there. We need manpower for that, but we can start with the people that you might know or people that are being featured here by the people in Flatwater Free Press. I mean, how do we get people to come out and tell us and talk to us about what it is they're going through in the same way that Free Press did in this article, talking to some folks that are like, it's over $30, over $60. If there can be some kind of, if there's an organization out there already that is doing that is gathering funds together in order to try to get to people, then maybe we can just help by finding out who those people are, or something. But there's again, it's an opportunity to have another good plan to figure out what can happen and what we can do to help.
yeah. And just kind of thinking about it is very interesting for people to get evicted for like 35, $60. When you think about just how much it costs just to apply for some other places, like you got $75 non-refundable application fees, for like how can they get in anywhere else if they couldn't even pay the $75 to begin with?
Right. Rome's reviews, Mayor Sanchez says, so important. I mean, lost my ready. For homeowners to make real sacrifices in this day and age to pay off their home and secure a future for themselves and family. I see my light at the end of my tunnel. So
Yeah,
here's a person who jumped into the home ownership venture here, and yeah, man, there's always the question. I know friends of mine that own their own homes that still almost got their home taken away because they couldn't afford the taxes, and we
yeah,
had to raise some funds up real quick for them to help them pay the taxes on their property so that they can keep it. I mean, it's not just people in the towers; it's all the way up to homeowners that are out here struggling for those things. He says if you didn't budget for it, don't buy it. That's definitely definitely the case for sure. Don't buy it.
Man.
But yeah, if you did, you can still wind up in some trouble, and that's just how things are. Maggie Miller Jenkins says this is a prime example of why we need to buy our own to build our own, because none of this was built for us.
Mm. There you go. There you go. But even speaking to your point about home ownership, Paul, Wanda Lewis also in the chat, giving us some context. She says they said that OHA is a private entity when it comes to towers. They seem to be exempt, are a safe housing. However, again, this goes back to the homeowner part. If you are a homeowner and say you want to make a little extra cash and rent your home out, there are some stipulations that you have to deal with that apparently OHA is exempt from. She says if a homeowner wants to rent out to Section 8 housing, they are required to follow safety and health guidelines as well as a pre-inspection and yearly inspections too, which also goes to what Sister Tamika is saying in the chat. I appreciate you commenting. Welcome. She says if it's not that the state doesn't want the money, they don't want to accept accountability and oversight that comes with it. So yeah, very, very interesting to see that.
Mayor Sanchez says if those buildings evict everyone, they can condemn the buildings and
Hmm.
yeah, I don't see them being able to convict everybody. I mean, evict everybody, but I do. It makes you wonder what they got going on, man. The truth, it rings true to me with the comment earlier that said, that I know for a fact that OHA doesn't have a lot of employees, so that lightening the caseload sounds like some truth to me.
Man.
They don't have as many people. We always knew that too. There was times that we had to call over to OHA to get some answers on some stuff that had to do with that tower and the radio signal up top and so on and so forth. And sometimes it take weeks for them to get back to us on.
Man. I do remember that.
Yeah. So appreciate everybody's comments on this. Everybody, we definitely been talking about a couple of fired up subjects today when it comes to the evergreen topics of First Sky Omaha, which is child care and housing. And everybody's talking about what's going on here. Wanda Lewis in the chat says, when dealing with financially oppressed tenants, humanity seems to go out the window unless OHA or low income housing are the ones footing the bill or by paying homeowners. Um, I feel like that humanity seems to go out the window is the phrase that I'm locking on. After
Man.
listening to Dr. Cornell West this last week and just being reminded about how everything needs to really stem from love. And the people who need the most love are the people that are being oppressed in all kinds of different ways, especially financially. Yes, having some humanity would dictate that you don't evict somebody over $30. Yes, you got to have some rules, and yes, you got to try to mitigate things, but really, like, it's the difference between coming with love and coming with protocol. So I just like I said, I feel like when that brother came on, he was speaking our language, and this is the reason why we
Man.
feel like we feel right now about it. It's the reason why we feel like we feel.
In a real way, man. Gotta be a love warrior. Gotta be a love warrior.
Most def. Speaking of love warriors, I'm gonna share a little something real quick that just happened when Dr. West came out.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting, and this has been floating around. Speaking of word of mouth, this has been getting around town a little bit. But this is a very interesting deal. He came out that day and he checked out the coal plant, and this is the message that Dr. Cornell Love West decided he was going to share with us on that. Check this out.
Omaha Public Power District, shame on you. You said you was going to shut this down 4 years ago. We stand for the precious humanity of brothers and sisters here on the north side of Omaha. That's right, North Omaha, historic North Omaha. And we stand in solidarity with them to shut this down. This is the grand exemplar of exactly the kind of environmental racism that this campaign is fighting.
That's what's up.
There you go.
Truth, justice, and love. Cornell West 2024. Hey, come on,
Gotta go.
47. Come on, 47.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Appreciate everybody that's joining in on the chat on that, and it's interesting, man. I'm glad that he did that. He went out to go check it out and got fired up by hearing the stories from us, and not us personally, but us in our community. And he got fired up about what's going on. We've been talking about this organization kicking the can down the road to close down the coal plant that has been causing chronic asthma, all kinds of health situations in the north side of Omaha, messed up. So shout out to Brother Cornell West for coming up using his platform to speak on some North Omaha issue that way. And we'll definitely be talking more about some of those things as time goes on, of course,
Oh
because
yeah.
that's how we do. It's another evergreen topic. There is the health of our neighborhoods, and it's what it is, man. So that's what's up. She says, I had a feeling he was going to do that. This, yes, Miss Erica felt, yeah, yeah. I had a feeling too. He's most definitely will speak up about stuff, and coming from a place of love, just coming from a place of love, especially to those oppressed.
There you
Yep,
go. There you go. And again, speaking the language, humanity, solidarity.
big time.
That's what's needed in a real way, man.
Yeah.
In a real way. So yeah, big shout out to the Dr. Cornell West for shedding some light on that. And yeah.
Love it. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back and jump into Miss Gwen Easter's comment a little bit before
Man,
we get to the next story. Stay tuned. You're listening to First Guy Omaha Radio, First Guy Omaha in the morning.
in the
All
morning.
Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners, stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. You're listening to First Guy Omaha Radio, First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
I thought I fat fingered your mic off or something. That was you that did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was me. My bad.
I was like, oops, I don't know what I just did. Shout out to No More Empty Pots that is opening up the
Hey,
green room, the greenhouse. Finally, we've been looking at that greenhouse ever since Highlander got built, and there's
man.
finally something going on in there. Shout out to all the people from No More Empty Pots in 75 North that's doing this. I love the greenhouse grand opening that's happening today. As a matter of fact, I don't have the date for the time for that. I had to find the time.
I believe 5. We talked
Was it
about
5?
this. I believe 5.
Okay, cool. So yeah, definitely check that out. Go to No More Empty Pots. They got information there. You can also go to 75 North Facebook page. They got information on it as well. But yeah, we've been kind of talking behind the scenes a little bit about this, and some of the people that are behind No More Empty Pots is talking about some of the funds and stuff that they got in to be able to make this happen. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. No More Empty Pots has been doing some great work as far as
Yeah,
feeding
man.
Omaha is concerned, especially through the pandemic. Man, their whole organization kind of jumped, threefold and they kicked it into gear to really deliver some food to people that were in need, especially during the pandemic. Great work, this organization. One of my favorite organizations out here, No More Empty Pots. They generate people who are opening their own restaurants and having their own other facilities and things they got going on in order to help feed people. It's just it's a great ecosystem. I would love to have the sisters that run that on the show and talk to them about what they got going on, especially now that they're about to open up this greenhouse. We're gonna have more
Yeah.
food all year round available to North Omaha. Shout out, man, for real.
Yeah, I understand. We're still fighting that food war, man. Families and individuals need nutritious food and access to that nutritious food. So yeah, definitely excited about that. I think I mentioned there's a market that's going to be open under that greenhouse as well.
Yeah.
As you see, there's some bays under there. So yeah, very excited to see what they do with that.
Heck yeah, man. Shout out to Ross Decor giving us
Man,
that
yeah.
info on the food wars. That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
Jumping into Gwen Easter's chat for a minute, I want to give her a little minute, give her some time here. She's got great points. First five priorities is for OPS early learning centers, Educare, and their partnerships. They include private childcare shortage to use us to get what they want. The bills for workforce insurance is about helping their OPS, Educare, and their other partnerships first. Families like Buddies get denied because it's not about helping families that really need the help. Low income families get Title 20 and free daycare hours. They use private child care businesses issues that they help create to get what they want. That's a
Mm.
cold line there. They use private child care business issues that they help create, the issues they help create to get what they want. The Nutrients bill will help, but if we have no clients to feed the nutritious food to, it doesn't matter if it passes for sure. They continue to find ways to hinder the growth of our childcare businesses by building and helping corporations to start daycares. We've been talking about this as well as far as the daycare situation is concerned in our neighborhoods. A lot of them are getting
Mhm.
shut down. Miss Gwen Easter's facilities, where she had to close some of her facilities, and we haven't mentioned it yet, but there's these early childhood learning centers that have popped up and offering some free health care to people. And we've been coming to talk about some of the dangers of that, and they help create this kind of childcare crisis a little bit, and then open up these facilities to have our children come there, and that's kind of defeats the purpose of having kind of that neighborhood feel of the neighborhood child care providers that kind of know us and know our kids, and we,
Mhm.
we feel more comfortable with leaving our kids with them. But it's hard to beat free. So that's how they're winning sometimes, and unfortunately that results in a lot of people getting shut down. So she's making the point: these subsidies can help, but what if? But not if you ain't got anybody to give the subsidies to. You don't have a facility anymore because you got shut down by some of these bigger organizations.
Pushed
Yeah,
out.
yeah. So thanks for your comment. Really appreciate that very much. Tamika Renee in the chat says using love and humanity is unrealistic unless you are referring to animal rights and rescue. Uh, Only
Man.
the bottom line affects the entitled, and that is the only thing that will get their attention. Media pressure and continuous exposure will do it. Most deaf. You got to have the love to be able to to put the energy in those actions in the first place. If you don't, that's kind of where I'm at. Like we want to make sure that we are loving the people who are suffering and do something, and then that inspires us to do something about it. But I agree. You got to put constant pressure, media pressure, and financial pressure on people to make them move for sure.
Yeah. 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 I would definitely say the love and humanity is for the people, for the people, the people that are being oppressed, the people that need it. That's who the love and the humanity is for. As far as, the powers that be, the entities, we definitely know that they only speak, dollars. And, for them, you need the courage to stand up.
Yeah,
And as Paul says, the love is going to give you that courage.
most deaf. Thanks for your comments. Wanda Lewis is asking: does anyone in the chat have access to brothers Dr. Umar or Dr. Cornel West gear? Anthony Rogers Wright, I think, has some merchandise from Dr. Cornel West. That's where we got the hoodie and the T-shirt.
Hmm.
So you might want to check in with him. I don't know about Dr. Umar's merch. You might want to check in with Brother Kasim at the BAA on that one. Um, Appreciate everybody that is joined in and giving us some information here. We're looking at the time here. Just want to make sure that we are conscious of it. It's 8:38 right now. If you believe in the concept of it, we believe in
That
agreements.
part.
Yeah.
That part.
Dr. West said, "I don't believe in the concept of time. I believe in the concept of spirit." I was like
Man.
add that on to it for real.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And wherever the spirit moves us, that's kind of where we
There you
go,
go.
regardless of the time. So, yeah, man, we definitely appreciate everybody tuned in. But speaking of that, spirit is telling me we got a couple articles left to jump into.
Mhm.
So we want to pivot again, trying to leave more time for the Haps. It is Friday, so as always, if there's anything going zones that you'd like to let the people know, drop it in the chat.
Want to hear about
Let's talk about it. But in the meantime, between time, let's continue this conversation and jump into this next article from Nebraska Examiner. As Paul mentioned, they're doing a lot of good work on one of our favorite journalists, Sidney Gonzalez, getting down and bringing up the conversation about how to fill the labor gaps in the state. Again, researchers are exploring how to better tap into Nebraska's prison population to fill labor gaps. And for nearly a decade, the Nebraska Center for Justice Research has apparently examined how the state spends millions annually on programs that aim to help prisoners integrate back into society. Apparently, they have focused on tracking groups that together receive about $3.5 million a year to deliver reentry services. The center analyzes participation, recidivism, and quantitative things, the numbers, according to Dr. Ryan Spoon. But in his latest project, the legislatively funded center actually stepped away from the numbers and the digits to offer a different spin. They're now going to employers to see what they need and what are some of the shortcomings and challenges with hiring inmates and formerly incarcerated individuals. And that the result is a 26-page report that is expected to be shared with state lawmakers and Department of Correctional Services and others, and relays employer perspectives and recommends ways to boost employment prospects for soon to be or recently released prisoners. One manufacturing supervisor, for instance, growls about how he really liked and wanted to hire an applicant, but the state case manager kept moving the goalposts, saying when I submitted, he's like, oh, I talked to this department. We also need that. Okay, the supervisor said. And then I submitted that, and he's like, oh, well, we actually need an increased version of that. And I'm like, oh, man. Among other barriers cited by employers, drug tests that conflict with work hours, a difficult communication and collaboration with work release centers, inmate skill deficits, and obtrusive worksite checks by state officials. Janie Pencook, who's a state corrections official who oversees reentry services provided through vocational and life skills grants, didn't dispute any particular concern raised in the report. But she says that state corrections officials already are working on some of the challenges identified, including beefing up communication and email compatibility between employers and job candidates at work release centers. She also said the department's 2024 strategic plan outlines ways to gain more input in general from the public and formerly incarcerated. She says, to me, it was affirming we are on the right track. Again, some of the other perspectives shared by employers also reflected in the report were gathered during interviews last year with representatives of 18 businesses of various sizes and industries. They're part of an ongoing evaluation of the state vocational and life skills program, which lawmakers created back in 2014 to better prepare inmates for a productive return to their communities. So far, the report said nearly 10,000 men and women have received vocational training, educational credits, and other supports through VLS grants to entities such as RISE, Associated Builders and Contractors, and Metropolitan Community College. So there are some work there, but also a lot of work left to be done. This is reminding me of conversations that we've had with Senator Justin Wayne, who's kind of informed us about jamming out and some of the things that many inmates are dealing with. Apparently, not enough inmates are getting these services and the vocational training that they need to transition back into really civilian life, if you will. Again, Paul, you're working firsthand with some of these individuals who are trying to transition from incarceration back into the general population, into the public. Again, shout out to the Metro Community College and the reentry program. What are some of your thoughts on some of the things that you're seeing for people struggling to transition out of incarceration?
Yeah. First of all, shout out to Paul Philman who put this article in Prison for
Yes,
Sky Omaha.
yes,
He's always staying on top of what's going on there, and it's a pretty positive situation. What I've learned just in the short time that I've been working on this documentary film is that there are hundreds of companies out there that want to hire individuals that have been formerly incarcerated. They make it. And some of them make it easy. Some of them make it a little tougher. Of course, the parole situation makes things tough sometimes.
man.
But for the most part, there are hundreds of companies out there. Shout out to Diane Good Collins, who's been building up relationships with those companies for the last decade, really trying to make it so that when somebody comes out and they want to get a job, they can come through. Shout out to Metropolitan Community College as well for having programs for people that are formerly incarcerated, so they can come and learn and get into the field that they want to get into and get started. Everybody that I've talked to have been taking classes at Metro and been going to their job, and then some of them have to go back into the facility. Some of them go to halfway houses and so on and so forth. So there's a lot out there going on, there's a big movement for making sure that there's not a lot of people going back to jail. Senator Wayne always talks about people that just jam out, and I've come to learn that term up close and personal with people that have just been let go, no resources, no nothing, just well, you're on your own, you're out. What do you do? Where do you go? Do you have a family
Yeah.
that you can go to? Do you got friends that are not friends of yours that you would get in trouble with before? Where can you go? What can you do? And then, of course, you got that stigma of having a mark on your record when you go in and apply for jobs that might decide no, we can't hire you because of that. So there's all this stuff going on, even though we're sometimes in a little bit of a crisis when it comes to workforce. And
Yeah.
it would be genius to tap into formerly incarcerated people and people in other neighborhoods, lower income neighborhoods, and so on and so forth, for them to be workforce for what it is you're trying to do. It seems like a great idea. It would be genius. I wish they'd do it more. Like I said, I'm only seeing people that got boosts to the roost like Diane Good Collins that are putting out that are making relationships happen and with companies to get people work and stuff like that. But there could be so much more to be done there. There's a lot. When you think about how many people are incarcerated, how many people? I mean, we're overcrowded right now with people.
Man.
You know,
And going in the wrong
wrong
direction.
direction. Tony Johnson said recidivism rate in Nebraska is 40%. So something needs to change, or on employer end. Yeah, on a whole bunch of different ends, I believe. I really feel like,
Yeah.
like I said, I've only been dealing with the organizations that are trying to help people reenter society. The 180 reentry program at Metropolitan Community College, for instance, they're helping them they're doing that in a strong way, giving them options for jobs and even helping them get places to be able to stay. And this particular one that I'm doing a documentary on right now is called the Life Program. It's even more of a deep dive. They pretty much assign you a person that can help you not just find a job, but also find a place to stay, help you with your schooling, help you with all the applications and stuff you need to fill out. There are group settings there for mental health. There are people you can talk to. So they're really like saying, hey, let's build a family around a person that's coming out, because if they don't have a family they can go to, they don't have that support they need to get back into society, we can provide, a simulation of that here. And that's who I've been dealing with. So I've been seeing that side of it. I haven't really talked to a whole lot of people yet that have not been able to, that has been just jamming out and didn't have any help. But the people that I've been talking to are just like, hey, there's some options out here. There's some options out here. Luckily, it's all through these kinds of organizations, though. So,
Yeah.
and as far as the state is concerned, like a workforce situation, I definitely think they should tap some of these organizations, like the 180 reentry program, and say, hey, we want to try to help build some more workforce here. Let's tap into these people. There's a whole community of them.
Yeah. According to, exactly where that shortage is and what those numbers look like, according to this article, the report noted that at the start of 2023, there were about 73,000 jobs that were available, with only about 28,000 unemployed individuals in the state to fill them. So, again, almost twice as many jobs as there are individuals looking for jobs right now. So, yeah, a lot of jobs out there. Of course, there's a whole nother conversation of whether those jobs, offer livable wages, things like that. That's an important part. Again, they always tout the numbers, the high or really low unemployment numbers here in Nebraska. But again, how many of those people are working 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet? So that is an important part to think about and to take in consideration. But I do also want to give a shout out to Heart Ministry Center, another organization doing good work in that area, again, of those who are formerly incarcerated. Not only do they have free services like the laundromat, like the clinic that we actually took a tour of, but they also do have what they call social enterprises that allow individuals to work and have jobs. I think they have a flower shop that they own that some individuals work at, and they're looking for more. So big shout out to Heart Ministry Center for the work that they're doing. But unfortunately, we need more. We need more assistance, and we need more types of programs and just entities for our formerly incarcerated brothers and sisters to get on the right path. And also, a few people in the comments chatting and commenting about the hiring processes of some of these employees, but excuse me, employers. But it is interesting in this article. They are kind of acknowledging some of the reasons why actually a lot of employers are interested in hiring formerly incarcerated individuals. One of the main comments from employers is that they work a lot of hours. Apparently, an off-reported remark by managers, according to the report, was that justice-involved employees were among their best workers, saying that they'll work for a lot of hours. And some one supervisor even said, "I think sometimes they have a lot to prove." Actually, a human resources manager of 140 employees told the researchers that Nebraska's employment rate, one of the lowest in the nation, should push employers to think about the unconventional. So yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Paul. It would be a great idea to kind of, find ways to bring our formerly incarcerated individuals back into the fold of you know, civilian life, if you will.
Yep, for sure. Yep. Yeah, more to come on these subjects for sure. Also, Jess Parker is reminding us too. Everyone needs to be informed on how to restore their voting rights when they're
Yes.
released, and also again when they're off papers completely. A lot of formerly incarcerated people don't know that they have their voting rights restored after being off papers for 2 years.
Yep.
Yeah, the reentry program, the 180 reentry program that I'm dealing with right now. That's the kind of help they give them. They give them the help of realizing what they can do now. Keeping track of things, helping them keep track of things as well. And even down to motivation, just to make sure that they have enough programs and have enough things going on that they don't feel like they can go back. And that's a good point too about what the employer said in the article you just read too about how much they spend hours working. You know, so a lot of these jobs are like it's a different conversation for a different day. But of course, we are always talking about living wage. There are
Hmm.
jobs out there for people that are formerly incarcerated, and when they get those jobs, and they're in the same boat as the rest of us now, having to work 2 or 3 jobs because the living wage is not all that. But one thing they do and take advantage of sometimes when they decide that they want to not go back to a situation that they were in, a poverty situation or a situation with family and friends that got them in trouble in the first place, is spend a lot of hours of work. And it's not just, I feel like it's not just the people that I talk to, it's not just because they want to prove something, but because they need a different environment to be in. And why not be in an environment that's also helping you get out of poverty and stuff like that as well? So yeah, it could. I understand employers saying some of our best employees are people that were formerly incarcerated. It makes sense. And like I said, there's hundreds of places out there that people can go. It just is you kind of got to go through these programs in order to get it though. So
Man,
that's what's
yeah,
up.
which is good, but also it's kind of unfortunate because programs can only help but so many people. Kind of going to Maggie Miller Jenkins' comment. She says, "But what civilian life? The life that they left is waiting for them when they return." To your point, Paul, what types of work are out there? Are their neighborhoods improved? Did their families get ripped apart by CPS because of their incarcerated time? So yeah, it's definitely just more than finding a job. There's a lot more assistance and a lot more things that goes back into just repairing not only their lives but, like you said, their families' lives.
Most deaf. Thanks for everybody's comments on this. We will definitely keep you informed on that as I go into the start of next year on really kind of paring down what we're doing with this documentary, so we can kind of show some of this work. I will
Hmm.
definitely keep you informed and maybe even give you some examples of some folks that are doing some good work out here, and some people that are doing better as far as being not deciding not to engage in the life that put them in there in the first place. So
Right.
yeah, lot to it, lot to it. 8:53 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, buddy, did you want a lightning round before we go to the Haps or what?
Yeah, a few more articles to get into before we get out of here. Just letting the people know of a few things going on, especially a few rule changes happening in the Nebraska legislature.
Okay.
So yeah, let's jump into this lightning round. Just a few minutes left in the show, and we still want to make some time for the Haps. So yeah, let's get into this really quickly, letting people know what's going on in the Omaha metro and across the state. And one big thing to look out for again is changes to the Nebraska legislature as they look to reform the testimony options for future public hearings. Hopefully, allowing the individuals out there to have their voices more heard more often and easier. Speaker of the legislature, John Arch, is looking at ways to reform the public hearing process after backlash about lawmakers cutting off testimony Earlier this year, at a meeting of Nebraska's Legislative Council Thursday, Arch proposed a system to provide consistency at public hearings with high attendance, which would trade off time allotted to supporters and opponents of a measure to prevent one side from waiting hours to get their turn to speak. The legislature saw heat during the 2023 session in the wake of several contentious public hearings held by multiple committees. Hundreds of Nebraskans filled the Capitol halls on those days for hearings that went late into the night, but not all attendees had the opportunity to testify, sparking some public outcry. And Art says we do have a lack of consistency in the committee process. So we did hear some individuals saying that they, drove out to Lincoln, took days off work, and weren't able to have their voices heard. So hopefully these changes do go through and will allow more individuals, whether you support or oppose a bill, to have your voice heard. Because at the end of the day, that's at the heart of democracy. Again, having your voice heard and being able to put that testimony on the record.
Yep.
Speaking of putting testimony on the record, in other news, speakers say that the legislature is pursuing a bill rather than a lawsuit to resolve separation of powers dispute. Again, this is all centering the legal opinion from Attorney General's office concerning the inspectors general and their ability to access important information to really oversee some of the government's, our state government's main entities and main operations, mostly our state of corrections, the corrections facility. Again, as Paul mentioned just recently, our state is still one of the most, if not the most, overcrowded prison system in the country, and yet we have again our inspector general's office being blocked from getting that information, specifically information surrounding the deaths of some inmates recently. So very concerning with that, but also child welfare in the midst of that, as inspector generals trying to retain the oversight of those child welfare corrections cases and situations. And again, child welfare in Nebraska still wrapped up in controversy as caseworkers are overwhelmed, overloaded, overcrowded, and undersupported. So very interesting that they are choosing to not go the path of legislation or not to go the path of litigation and a lawsuit, but more so legislation, and a possible bill could be coming out to shore up, again, the oversight powers of the inspectors generals, again, in the areas of child welfare and correction. So expect that battle to continue into the 2024 sessions, but we will definitely be keeping our eyes on this, as again, at First Sky, we're all about transparency. We're all about putting out the information. We're all about communication, and we definitely need to find out, again, what's going on with the state's child welfare and correction systems. So definitely keeping our eye on that. And when that bill is announced, I will most likely be rounding back around to that. But again, as we wrap up our lightning round in other news, this is interesting. Again, a lot of feelings about nonprofits, and there's a new nonprofit making waves and announcing that they are here in the Nebraska area. The nonprofit is, according to its leaders, geared towards shedding a spotlight to promote awareness on economic issues and federal legislation affecting residents of Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. The organization Nebraska for Us held its official launch Wednesday night at an Omaha event that drew about 40 people. According to the organization, Nebraskans are struggling, and it's clear that vital programs many of our working class and middle income neighbors count on are under constant threat. That's according to Director Angie Lauritsen, who's a former elected official who also worked in various local and statewide issue campaigns. She went on to say, from income tax policies and jobs to Social Security and Medicare, we're looking to shine a light on key votes in Congress and work together to make sure our leaders are working for people like us. Also, communications director for the organization, Colin Ruan, said in an interview that the coalition is not affiliated with a political party and does not plan to support or oppose a candidate. However, they did acknowledge U.S. Representative Don Bacon, who was brought up in the group's media release, as well as the launch event. And they say that they are the district's, Bacon is the district's elected representative, and that the coalition believes it is important to share messages and testimonies with him. So hopefully he's listening, but definitely looking forward to learning more and kind of keeping an eye on this organization. Again, Nebraska for Us, more nonprofits in the area.
Anybody heard of that one? I don't know. I guess thanks for, that's we'll look into it. That's all I can really say on that one.
Again, Nebraska for us covers specifically congressional district 2, which again encompasses the rural and urban parts of Douglas, Sarpy, and Saunders counties. And their goal is to build an understanding of how decisions in Washington affect their communities. So there you go. And that does it for our lightning round.
All right. Well, that last one got me a little bit just like, man,
Got to throw that in there.
oh
Throw that in there.
man, another nonprofit.
We'll
I
see.
mean,
Another
hey,
one.
and another one. There you go.
But yeah, that does it. That does it for our
Yeah,
lightning round.
got that. But Maggie Miller Jenkins, real quick, says, "What if all these nonprofit organizations got together and bought the power plant or something else that would bring long lasting relief to the community?" Come on, Mayor Jenkins. We got to.
All right.
Couple
It's definitely an idea.
couple of mayors with some good ideas in there. Stephen Abraham, good morning, says there's individuals out there that don't want to see returning citizens housed or in the workplace. I have a list of jobs and other resources I posted on my personal Facebook page for returning citizens. This is returning citizens, for those of you who don't get it, is formerly incarcerated people. And surprisingly, I was getting backlash saying those companies may not want their names listed as a resource and other demeaning comments.
I mean,
Thanks for doing that work there, bro. For sure, brother
Thank
Abraham. Yep. We all. I tell you what, man. When I looked at that board of hundreds of jobs, I was looking at that board for myself. Like, well, I'm not formerly incarcerated, but I need one of these jobs they got up.
yeah.
I mean, hey, they're there. So, it's not as dire. I mean, 180 reentry program is ran by a person that was formerly incarcerated. They know the struggles of coming out, returning as a citizen, and what it is that you need, not just work but support. So and as you can see, there's resources all around, and I really appreciate everybody who is putting those resources out. That's what's up.
Yeah.
It is already 9:01. We're already past our agreements. Somebody early in the chat says, I don't believe in the concept of time, but I believe in the concept of obligations. Going to work. We believe in the concepts of agreements. We agreed that we would stop at 9, and we usually are breaking that agreement. And but we usually are appreciating the fact that you let us break that agreement when it comes to the end there. We don't break the agreement of starting at 7 in the morning, though. That's one that we keep pretty strongly. So, again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 to 9-ish. This is what we do here at First Sky Omaha in the morning. We really appreciate everybody that's coming in the chat. We did have a couple haps. Again, the major haps that's happening today is the opening of the greenhouse for us over there on 30th Street, 75 North. No More Empty Pots is behind the grand opening here. And they've teamed up with 75 North on making this greenhouse a reality. And I cannot wait to see what they grow there and what they sell out of the shops below. That's really what I want to get down on. But support No More Empty Pots. Shout out to them for making this happen. And let's support them. Let's get over there. I believe it's 5 o'clock that it's happening over there at the 75 North Highlander Accelerator. We've all seen the building. I see the church there in the background. You know where that's at on 30th Street. Definitely go check out this opening and give some props to No More Empty Pots for all the work they're doing. That's what's up. Appreciate that very much. Poetry Slam happening at Dry Spokes, which is the new spot over on Leavenworth that we're kind of about as well. Nebraska Writers Collective, who's been a partner of ours in the past, doing an Omaha Poetry Slam. Nice. They do it at 7 o'clock every second Saturday. So the next one coming up is December the 9th. If you want to get your poetry on, I always want to push poetry events, especially Poetry Slam. So shout out to Nebraska Writers Collective, and shout out to Dry Spokes for putting this on. Another place where we can have some good art and dialogue going on there as well. So appreciate that very much. Definitely also want to make sure that we are putting our missing posters up. Nina Elizabeth Harlan still missing, age 33, Native American, brown hair brown with blonde highlights. She was last seen on November the 13th. If you have any information about Nina, please contact Omaha Police Department, 402-444-4600, extension 6. Man, please be on the lookout for these folks. If we're not looking out for them, then I don't know how much energy the powers that be are putting into looking out for us. So definitely do that. And of course, we are still looking for Mr. Levi Blake. If you have any information, put that on your Facebook page and go hashtag where is Mr. Blake. Also, you can contact directly 402 with any information. Please continue to look. We had this date, November 16th, where everybody kind of went out in their neighborhoods and checked out their neighborhoods and sent some pictures back up with the where is Mr. Blake hashtag to show that we were looking in our neighborhoods. I didn't upload mine, but kind of walked around Benson area to look myself. But we're going to continue to do that even after that November 16th day. We've been continuing to do that. Keep your eyes open. In collaboration with the Omaha Police Department Missing Persons Unit, urges all residents in the metro area to allocate time from their day to canvass their neighborhoods, especially in less frequented areas. Collective endeavor is an aim to at locating the missing person, 80-year-old Levi Blake, who suffers from dementia and has been missing since August 17th. Your assistance in this joint effort is crucial in the search for Mr. Levi Blake. So, shout out to Sherman Wells, Untamed, BAA, everybody who is behind trying to help locate Mr. Blake, and of course the community, all of you who've taken some time out of your day to go look around your area and keep your eyes open as well. Again, you can call 402-444-4123 with any information if you have it. Or, of course, you can hit us up here on Friends of First Sky Omaha or the First Sky Omaha page, or DM us or whatever. We'll get the message over to Sherman Wells. If anybody has any information and needs us to facilitate some of that dialogue there. So shout out to everybody who is getting down there. Don't forget also the event coming up, the Reader El Perico party is happening. This is the final party, the farewell party that's happening December 16th. If you got any kind of good information from the Reader over the years, if it's helped your life out and you appreciate it, let's give them a send off. Since the Reader shut down this year, it's a good time to give them a send off. Celebrating the Reader in El Perico and all the good work they've done. This is at the Admiral, which is the former Sokol Auditorium. Definitely check that out. Doors open at 6. Again, this is December 16th, 2023. Put it on your calendars. We're definitely going to be there. They were a major partner of First Sky Omaha in the morning. And we got a lot of information from them. Worked really closely with John Houston and everybody from the Reader, man. Chris Baby Boy Bowling.
Baby boy.
Man, Carla, man. I mean, how many
Yeah.
people have we had on the show from the Reader?
Squad.
Shout out that's the squad. So, man, come check it out. There's a musical lineup. Steelo's in the house.
Hey.
Man, Hector Anchondo, blues champion of the USA, and a couple other bands here. So definitely come check this out. We'll have a good time and celebrate the Reader in El Perico. Well deserved. So appreciate that very much. Those are all I'm going to talk about today. I don't know if anybody in our chat's going to go check out Doja Cat tonight, but that is happening tonight, 7:30. She's going to be there with Ice Spice. If you're into those artists there, major artists coming to CHI Health Center in Omaha. So people can't act like it's not happening in Omaha. It's happening in Omaha too, for sure. So get your tickets and go check out Doja Cat a little later on tonight, if that is in your bag, as they say. And
if that floats your boat.
if that floats your boat. With that, we'll get on out of here, man. Appreciate everybody that allowed us to stay a little bit over and do some of the haps there, and appreciate all your comments today. Very getting back to the evergreen subjects that we have here, and getting moving the conversation along. I love it. Wanda Lewis has also said in the chat a little earlier, let's not forget about the 6 children have also recently died in state care. That's a headline to me. I did not know that, and I'd like to see get some more information on that, and maybe that's something that we need to talk about as well and a report on. So thank you for that information. Thank you for that. We'll definitely check into it and see what's going on there, because we're always talking about what's happening in our child care facilities, and the foster care situation is another evergreen topic. First Sky Omaha loves the kids.
Yeah.
So we got to keep our eye on what's happening there. Let's go ahead and get out of here, buddy. You got some words for the people?
And yeah, as always, man, big shout out to all the chat chimers, all the ghost listeners, everybody who's supporting First Sky Omaha. We're trying and striving to do our best to support you. So, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. And tell a friend, man. We're approaching the end of season 6, but gearing up for season 7. So definitely looking forward to coming in strong. And yeah, man, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you. So let's keep it moving. Let's again, as I mentioned, if you're at the Dr. Umar event, let's turn this into a movement and not just a moment. Let's keep it moving. boots to the roots. Let's mobilize, get some things done. We all we got, but that's enough, y'all. So we appreciate you. And catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. And so, yeah, with that, Paul B.
Yo.
Take it away.
Man, just appreciate the senators that came on this week. Senator Terrell McKinney, Senator Justin Wayne. Shout out to the BAA for all the things that they've done all week long. Shout out to Untamed as well. It was great to see those brothers out there that were protecting Dr. Umar and Dr. Cornell West. It's a beautiful thing. Like I said, shout out to the Sydney for hosting the after party. Shout out to Kethro for DJing after party, man. Shout out to the Weberize for allowing us to come in their studios. And man, the squad back together, fam back together again on that Weberize trip. So shout out to all the Star Trek Rich and Margie over there at Weberize. Definitely check their podcast company out. If you got some ideas, need to get them together. Go over there and go to Weberize and get your ideas out for real. Just much appreciation and love to everybody that we've been encountering this past week, man. I'm still on a high from it, so I really appreciate everybody. It's a great show of solid. I mean, we're back to talking about the issues, but man, it feels really good to, it feels like a step up to some solidarity here, and I really feel that, and I'm gonna stay positive on that as long as I possibly can, if you guys don't mind. So appreciate it very much. Miss Erica Fell says, great show, about to get elbow deep in paint and peppermint. Okay. Wishing everyone a weekend that is full of belly laughs, rest, and remembering to drink water. Be good to yourselves. Appreciate that very much. Ron's Reviews, Mayor Sanchez says, have a blessed weekend, everyone. Appreciate that. Pop says, thank you for the very powerful show you have presented over the last couple of weeks. If they are a precursor to season 7, I can't wait. Have a great weekend, everyone, and love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops. Brooks giving us a good morning as if we just started the show. Good morning. And good time, Brooks.
You was late.
I forgot about that. You is late. It's 9:10 right. It's 9:11 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, if you had to be at work at 9:00, you is late. Remember that from
was late. Yeah. Minus
old days. Shout out to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them, and shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Really appreciate you joining into the chat. Lots of great comments today. If you missed any parts of this show, go back and watch it on Facebook and YouTube. Give us a like and subscribe on YouTube, and definitely check out the chat on YouTube and Facebook as well. You got to check out both, because there have been people on Facebook and YouTube and a lot in the chat. We're going to put out there a couple of requests to see if we decide to move all the way over to YouTube. Would y'all be fine with that, giving up Facebook and just going straight to YouTube? And also the second part of that is, where do you get your news and your haps from? Let us know where else you get those from. Those are the two questions we're going to keep asking for the whole rest of this season, and probably well into season 7 as well. So we can take a little survey on those things. But thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Tony Johnson says, Spencer home event on December 16th. Okay, appreciate that, Haps. We'll definitely look into that more. Give us some more information. Send it over to Friends of First Sky Omaha if you would. Appreciate that very much. We're going to go ahead and get out of here, and you guys get on about your day. Really appreciate everybody who's joined us. It was good hanging with y'all in person this week as well. It was a beautiful thing to see chat chimers and ghost listeners at these events. We'll definitely do more of that. We didn't get a chance to have a chat chimers kickback this time around the Buddy, but the only person that was really asking about it was Kimra. She kept on being, when we gonna do it again? When we gonna do it again? So,
but I will consider, like, the Dr. Umar event, the Dr. Cornell West. I consider that a chat chimers kickback. We got down at the Sydney a little bit, man. So we were able to live alive with some of the chat chimers. So yeah, it was nice to see everybody.
Very nice to see everybody, and we'll see you again on Monday. Y'all take care of yourselves this weekend.
Last Monday of the season, last Monday of the year.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, meet us there.
I'm looking forward to this break. I will say that. I need a little rest.
Man, in the meantime, between time, y'all take care. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red